Right, I'm still playing with my gear ratios. Remember, I've got the chain going bang 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 on there, and I've got the side stand is too close to the wheel and rubs in that centre bit there and rubs on the wheel, so I've had to put a spacer in there to make that hang down a bit further. So I've still got a few issues. So I've got a gear calculator out. You can get them online. The basis is that one tooth on the front equals 3 on the back. So if you're going to change one of the tooth on the front, and you've got to make the equal ratio. So a 15, which is a standard postie, times a 45, a 1545 equals 3.00. That's the ratio. To do the same thing with my 42 I have on the back, and I currently have a 42 on there, that means that I would need to go a 14 on the front to make it the same ratio as the postie bike. But I never did, because I want to gear that bike up. I think first gear is too low. First gear is pretty well, I'd want to take off in second gear and then make fourth gear a fifth gear. That's basically what I'm up to. So to do that, a 1442 is equal to 300. Now, I have currently on there an 1842, and that gets the ratio of 2.33. I've just bought a 37 tooth sprocket, which is about 5 smaller. It's more of a jump than just 3, but that's all I could find to fit that bike. So I'm going to put a 37 on the back, and to get the same ratio of what I currently have, it's a 16 on the front. I have a 15, 16, 17, 18, so I can play around with the front sprocket, and it shouldn't be a problem. So I can still go bigger, or I can still go smaller. So on that bike, I will put a 1637. Now that's going to mean a few things. I have that banging on the bottom here trouble. If I go smaller on the sprocket there, that should help get rid of that issue. Also, going smaller on the back, less chance of it slapping on there, so maybe introduce a bit more slack, but that should fix that. Now, by going smaller and smaller, that will make the chain, as it's smaller, it'll make the chain more saggy, so I've got to move the back wheel back, and which I have the room to do that, and by moving the back wheel back, I will eliminate that issue that I have here by the metal touching the wheel. So, all in all, get rid of the noise, fix that problem, and I still end up with the same gear ratios and still more room to move, because I want to gear this thing right up. Well, that looks like a big difference between the 42 and the 37. That looks like a big jump. Now, they'll go from this to this. It'll be the same as this to this. The only thing is, that's such a big difference, I might have to take a link or two out, and if I take a link or two out, that's already a one-way street. You can't go back. Well, that's what it looks like on. I'm not getting any problems down here, like it's not hitting on there, which has been a problem in the past. Being a smaller rear sprocket, it'll make the chain a bit higher here, so could have a bit of slack to it. I will have to take that much out. I don't know what you count that as in links, but I'm going to take that much out. I just took it for a ride, and this is the first decent plug colour I've had. General riding, but you know, you're always flogging a postie. But that's the colour. I'd call that about right. Maybe a touch rich. Now you've just seen the plug colour from the last ride, and the plug colour's good. I would be happy with it, except for one small thing. So I'm going to make it a bigger main jet, and this is the reason. I turn it on, fuel on, they're on, 62 degrees, so it's running temperature, and it runs nice. Well, I've got the jetting nice, not running too high, too low, nice and steady. But if I push the NOS button, it'll choke it, like it'll just give it too much fuel. So watch this. That's it, just choked it. So what was happening was, I was riding along about 70 kilometres an hour, and I was pushing the NOS button, and it was making no difference. So that says to me it could do with a bit more richer, because I don't want to go as rich as what the NOS button does, but it was handling it at pretty well full throttle. It was handling it okay, so I'm going to up the main jet to be on the safe side, knowing they can handle it. Today's ride was like 17 degrees, and I've got 2 lots of tape on there, and the motor was self-regulating, the temperature was self-regulating around 90 degrees. So I can either cut that in half or be happy with 90 degrees. It's Tasmania, it's only going to get colder. 90 degrees is a little higher than what I want. This thing would be going, but it's not boiling. It's not 100. I'd rather run the motor warmer than colder. So it's getting in the ballpark. I might just halve that tape, and I'll probably run around 80 degrees, something like that. See how we go. This is the 1537 gearing, and as you can see at about 6,000 revs, it's doing about 70 kilometres an hour. This ride, I've upped the gearing again on the front now, it's 1737, and it's about right now. I like this pace. This is, I take the roundabout and I get up to 80 and I hold it at 80 for a while. This is the plug after that ride, and now you can start to see that it's excessively rich. So that was 10 up. I had a 110 on before, now I've got a 120, and this is what a 120 looks like. 110 main jet, 120 main jet, slightly darker. Just come back from my 5th ride, and as far as the gearing goes, I've got it now at 1737, and I've gained, but I've lost. Getting up to 80 is good now. Like, the power is definitely between 4 and 6. So I'll now get up to 80, and it's about 6.1. But the problem is now, because it's so tall geared, winding out to above that is really hard, and I can get to 90, but that's like a wind out, where before I could sort of wind it out to 8 and get down around here somewhere. Now it won't sort of wind out, the wind resistance is so good, so I've lost top end, but I've gained speed to 80. So that's just the nature of the cam, you can't do anything about that, and I'm happy with that. I know what's going on. And that was my original idea. Get to 80, then NOS it out to 100. So, and that's it, gearing done. I can't go any taller. I'll just lose top end, gain drivability. But I'm happy with drivability. 80 is not a problem. Okay, I've been looking at this, and I don't like it, so well, it's okay, but I'm gonna change it. And what I'm gonna change it to, I've got a bit of wire, some swages, some little thingos here, and I'm going to change that by making something that'll sort of sort of do that, and I'll make it and I'll show it to you and see if you like it or not. Well, I've made it now, so what it was this strap, and now it looks like that. So, let's give you a close look. And the idea is if the pipe's in its happy spot, so just a little bit of up movement. So it's not that it does anything, it just stops it from wanting to do anything. That's all it needs to do. And looking back, that's what it looks like now. So yeah, I think that's an improvement than the leather strap. Okay, next. I'm doing visuals at the moment. This Kickstarter did nothing for the bike. It's black, you know. But this one, it's got a perfect line. So that, it's not black, I think that one adds to the bike. And then of course the spark plug. I know I've had a chat about the spark plug, but I've got control of that now, so I can work with that. And the next video is when I start getting serious with spark plugs.